Hasn't left an easy red though. If this one does go to left corner. Attempted by O'Sullivan in such a way that he was going to cover the red over the pocket by means of the bunch if he happened to miss it.
And he's had a look of knocking one red onto another, but there's a lot of distance there and the red isn't that close to the corner pocket. It's dangerous. There's 2 balls behind the pack. He's also looking at to plant. There you can see him lining them up now. It may be wiser because at least you can take the cue ball back to a similar position he's at now, should he miss it, and if he gets it, he'll be on the blue.
Almost. However, as you foresaw, Terry, Davis played that in such a way that he was going to cover that pocket by means of the bunch.
Well, I think the referee Paul Collier declared a touching ball.
Well, that sort of shot can often be a little tester when things are tense, when you've just got to touch the cue ball because it's so close to a red.
Touching ball. Re-rack.
The re-rack was offered because a stalemate was developing.
The re-rack is a rule you see implemented quite often in modern-day snooker. It comes around when the referee considers that a stalemate is being approached, that is, the frame's going nowhere. A normal example of this would be early in a frame, you might get a red over a pocket and the white goes towards the pack, covers the red, nobody can have a go with it, so very little happens. The referee will generally give the players a warning, normally 3 shots each, and he will tell them that if things don't change in that time, he'll re-rack the balls and start again. If we re-rack the balls, all the scores are cancelled, the balls are reset, and we just start as if nothing had happened.
So here we go. Frame 13, take 2. I'm just trying to think of famous veterans who've won major titles in other sports. Jack Nicklaus was 46 when he won his last major, the Masters at Augusta. George Foreman won a world heavyweight boxing title when he was 46. And although this isn't a world championship, all the world's best players are in this tournament. So if Davis could win this, that achievement would be right up there. He certainly didn't have a thought in his head about winning it at the start of the week, coming to Cardiff not having won a match in the season's first 3 world ranking tournaments. Oh, perilously close to the pocket.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
And it leaves O'Sullivan a simple starter. How did I do that?
One.
Well, it was Ronnie that was first to suggest the re-rack, and he may be glad now that he's done it.
6.
Adding off from Steve Davis. Oh, well,
7.
I was going to say that almost wobbled and stayed out, but it's only the pace that helped it. Any harder, that would not have gone in. Not sure if it's a bad contact or just mishit it.
Might have tried to pot it onto that
14.
side of the pocket so that the cue ball didn't drift closer to the side cushion, although there's only fractions in it. He'd still got plenty of room.
$15.
Even these longer matches, there's always important shots, and this afternoon there was one when Steve Davis missed the chance to go 5-1.
21.
Ronnie O'Sullivan potted a great red, to be fair, and then cleared
22.
up. And tonight, that in off from Steve Davis, very unusual for him to play a poor safety shot, not under pressure, I may add. If unforced error,
29.
could change things around again.
30. $35. 36.
In November's British Open in Brighton, Ronnie O'Sullivan led Stephen Hendry 5-3 at the interval, but lost 9-6. So having lost one final from in front, are we going to see him win this one from
43.
behind?
Ronnie O'Sullivan 43.
The red had a long way to travel, but it was a straightish pot, so he'll be disappointed to have missed that.
Quite right, Clive, there was no pressure on it. He was on the black and he was never going to leave a red on. But he's under pressure, of course. It's 7-5 behind, but it's the type of shot that he would knock in 9 out of 10.
Still
Touching
leads
ball.
by 47 points in this frame, which he needs to narrow the gap to a single frame.
Just looking now to leave the cue ball down close to the bar cushion. Though there's a red there, there'd be no value for Steve Davis going for it if Ronnie Sullivan leaves the cue ball on the cushion. He couldn't get on a red or colour after it. Nasty, this one. Good shot, but he may left the one into the right centre. Thought he would have put the cue ball a little bit more towards the yellow there, or the yellow spot line on the bar cushion. Doesn't like it. Bridging is not easy there. It's got a bridge on the leather of the pocket. Well, I could say he missed the one into the middle he should have gone for and hit the other one, but I got it wrong, really. I thought he was going for the one in the right centre, Clive.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Maybe the reason that he went for the long one was that he calculated he was less likely to leave something if he missed it. And O'Sullivan again fails with a red to that baulk pocket, although that was at a more difficult angle than the one he missed previously. Davis having a good look at this. If O'Sullivan's left a pot on either of the reds behind the pink, that was careless, but I don't believe he has.
Well, sometimes you can look enough times. It looks tight there. You can look at it enough times and you'll convince yourself it will go when it won't. Anyway, he's going for the long one.
Went for it in such a way that he wasn't going to leave one to the right corner if he happened to miss it. O'Sullivan's 47-point lead still intact.
Sizing up all the options, if those two reds he's looking at, if he can play those in such a way that he'll take them both back down the table and keep the cue ball there, that'd be the ideal for Steve with the score as it is, 47 down. Not bad.
Achieved by playing the first red onto the cushion and finish off the second red. Oh, catastrophe.
Yes, he played the cross double. Steve Davis played one earlier and got it, but Ronnie O'Sullivan, well, he's laughing at it because he got a double kiss. It's the last thing he wanted, caught it slightly too full. There's plenty to do for Steve Davis. At least he's got a chance here. There's only 2 reds on the side cushions.
In the last frame, the one before the mid-session interval, Davis cleared up in a position not dissimilar to this.
No.
There were 2 reds apparently safe on either side cushion, but he developed them both and carried his break to 53 to win the frame. If he could do something similar again, he would go 3 up with 4 to play at 8-5.
Well, you can see him getting 40 or 50 here, but at this stage it would be a bit of an achievement to clear up, to say the least. Mind, he surprised us all this week a few times, Clive.
Yes, and himself. And
24.
I don't know, he seems to have the air of believing that this is his night. He could win. No one would be more pleased than Bill Davis, his father on the right, young Greg. Who himself is becoming a keen player. An old friend of mine from my Cardiff days, Albert Barrett in the middle.
30.
In the meantime, Steve has just slipped slightly out of position. Wanted to be straighter on this red. Yeah, it was missable.
Steve Davis 30.
It was, but I didn't expect him to miss it. He was also trying to move the red on the left-hand side cushion. One of the difficult reds. Chance gone. But nothing easy left. O'Sullivan forced to move the safest red. It looked as if he thought it was a lollipop.
I think he's looking to skim off that red and go up and down the table, but that's risky. Would have liked the cue ball a little bit closer to the left cushion. Ronnie O'Sullivan is as good as they come in the middle pocket, I must say. Not to be this time. And worse to follow, the Reds caught the knuckle and come back out. tough pot, that one.
And catching the far jaw in that way was the only possible way he could have left it. Davis will be disappointed. Disappointed to have missed at that range. He was playing from under the cushion, but cue ball and red not far apart, and the pot was pretty straight. A couple of mistakes from Davis then. A couple of missed opportunities in the last couple of minutes. But a mistake from O'Sullivan. Davis won't keep missing.
Well, he's normally such a good rest player. But he's overcut that one. Now then, can you get past this brown? I think he can. As Ronnie O'Sullivan looks on, not quite sure if Steve Davis played for the blue then. It's on, but he's going to kiss the other red. Tricky one, that, Clive, isn't it?
Yes.
6.
I think as long as he played it with a slight degree of firmness, he was always going to be on a red though.
7.
Best possible
14.
on that red from that angle, but still missable with the rest. This.
$15.
Into the lead with that black.
$22.
Is he going to do it? Asks young Greg.
He hasn't got a lot of angle here, and the favourite looks to screw back possibly for the blue. He had enough to come out for the black, but get it from there to the last red. I don't think it's got the angle anyway to get too far up there. Can get up towards the centre pocket. That's the problem, you see. Got to force it. It seemed that he
Steve Davis,
could
23.
have screwed the red back for the blue then, or the bar colours, but the chance is gone anyway.
Davis undone by the forcing shot, which was necessary for position then. Has to cannon the yellow from the blue. Oh, but forgot to pop the blue.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1, frame conceded.
Well, extraordinary to concede, though. Davis might not have cleared up, although we probably would. In his disgust, though, O'Sullivan concedes. Davis leads by 8 frames to 5. 3 up with 4 to play.
No doubt about it.
Well, it's a pretty complicated shot he's got to play. The black and the yellow are together. He's got to play a pinpoint cannon on the yellow. And he just forgot to pop the blue. He's just taken all his concentration off the blue and onto the cannon he's playing on the yellow. And
that frame, though, was so nervy. There were so many misses, and 3 or 4 missed reds, then the crucial blue. It was always a question, wasn't it? Who was going to make the crucial miss? Which of those misses was going to really cost?
Absolutely, but unfortunately for Ronnie, it was his mistake at the end which cost him. And well, I don't know what he must think now. He's got 4 frames left in this match, and he's going to have to win them all. So the equation's fairly simple. He can't afford to make mistakes now. He's going to have to find his A game, and he hasn't done that so far tonight. So Steve's just 1 frame away now from winning his first ranking tournament for 9 years.
If there's anybody in the game who can go out and win 4 straight frames in about 25 minutes to shock everybody, it's Ronnie O'Sullivan, isn't it?
Absolutely, and he'll be hoping for a bit of help along the way from Steve Davis. The thing is, in 4 frames, you can't stop somebody from having their chance, and Steve will have his chances, no doubt about that.
But Ronnie needs to get the momentum back with him, I guess, and look at the win this one first. Do you take? He has to take it one at a time, surely.
Oh, he does, absolutely. He's got to do just that. Take every frame, 1 frame at a time, and just hopefully he'll feel the tension himself. If he can win 2 in a row and get back within 1 frame, he'll start getting nervous as well.
Here he goes, maybe. What on earth is going to happen next?
Ronnie O'Sullivan impulsively conceded the last frame when it was by no means certain that Steve Davis would have potted the necessary colours. But there was certainly nothing wrong with the long red with which O'Sullivan started this one.
6. $13. $14.
You just get the feeling here that Ronnie O'Sullivan needs to make a lot of points. If he misses here, I think he's vulnerable at the moment. But so much talent, of course, you could just clear up with this visit.
I agree, Terry. I think O'Sullivan's got
29.
a lot more chance of pulling this match out of the fire if they're quick frames.
30.
He seems to be losing the ones which end up in a tactical battle of any kind. Three centuries O'Sullivan's had today.
37.
And he's still 8-5 behind.
38. $45.
His cue power then coming into play. Perfect split.
46. $53. 54.
Typical Ronnie O'Sullivan, this. After
61.
that concession in the previous frame. But there's always a time out there. I think he conceded because of his own
62.
frustration, Clive, but there's always a time when you can get rid of that by doing something like that, and now it's like, well, I'll just go out there, see how it goes and relax a bit. And you could run frames off the blink of an eyelid.
69. $70.
Up to 70 in 3 minutes 40 seconds. And already past the winning post,
77.
barring 3 snookers in this frame.
$85. 86. 93. 94.
Just brilliant.
101. 102.
Once he gets into a break, he's so fluent. He makes it look so easy.
109.
Well, it is easy when you're a
110.
genius.
Well,
116.
he did make his first century when he was 10.
118.
His first 147 in competition when he was 15.
118 on the frame.
Would he have got that right-handed? Doesn't matter. It was a superb break of 118. It keeps O'Sullivan in the match, but he's still got it all to do because Davis is still 2 up with 3 to play at 8-6. Do you think that's changed the psychological balance of the match, Terry?
Well, he's done with 4 centuries, Ronnie O'Sullivan. I mean, Steve Davis' best break, 66. And he's still well in front, so Steve won't be too worried about that century. He'll be glad that Ronnie conceded the previous frame to give him, you know, up to 8 frames, but still a bit to do.
Steve Davis on the brink of a remarkable success. 9 years after he last won a world ranking title, and 7 years since he last won a major tournament, which was the Masters at Wembley, when he beat O'Sullivan.
15. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
He beat O'Sullivan in remarkable fashion that night. O'Sullivan 8-4 up. Davis won 10-8. Can the maestro close out the match?
I was just going to say the key to it is for Steve Davis to just carry on the same. Obviously, it gets a bit tense out there at this stage, but he's been playing aggressive his pots, playing good safety.
Bill Davis chortling away at that one.
He slipped out of position straight away. Just got an unwanted clip then of one of the reds. Now he's taking this red on and he's probably going to cannon into the black, so this could go wrong.
He's played it beautifully. Judged the cannon to perfection.
You know what they say, you never forget how to clinch a match when you've won so many tournaments in your career. I don't think Steve's ever lost that ability. Just that he hasn't been getting in this type of position for a number of years.
This is Davis's 99th major final. He's won 73 titles.
Yeah, but he's not that good, is he?
He's not blowing everybody away like he was in the 80s, but
24.
he's played like an old master restored today.
He looks so composed out there. He looks at peace with himself. I haven't seen him this way for a long time. Obviously, because he's playing so well, that's why he's looking more composed out there. And then just one loose red after this black. I have to think about moving one or two of them.
32.
Ronnie O'Sullivan wondering if Davis is going to go on to make a frame and match-winning break at this visit.
Well, if he doesn't, it wouldn't be through lack of effort, would it? Really is a great competitor. Missed the cannon. Played to catch the red at the side of the pack there. Stay on the other
40.
two. He's still on them, but a bit on the thin side. He's got to go for these. He's been going for the closer range shots throughout the tournament. It's the distance ones that he's slightly vulnerable under pressure.
Knew that he was carrying
Ronnie O'Sullivan
the second ball. Unlucky that the cue ball flew into the corner pocket.
Yes, he was unlucky there, but at least he hasn't left a red on. Because you just get the feeling at this moment, if he leaves Ronnie O'Sullivan a ball on, he's going to wipe them up.
A bit thin, and therefore a bit speedy. Cue ball running in and out of baulk. No easy starter. although I do believe that the red second left of picture is a shot to nothing. O'Sullivan knew that if he reached the potting angle he wouldn't be cannoning another ball.
He was shaking his head just now. That was one of the worst safety shots he's played in this final, for certain.
Three.
I don't think he's missed a ball left-handed.
Well, it is half-handy, isn't it? You know, I mean, he's only playing it, obviously, to save using the rest. He's not playing any left-handed shots when he could play them right-handed. And it's a great asset. He's looking good. Just get the feeling,
11.
as I mentioned earlier, that he's up for this.
Twelve.
Well, he's okay. He didn't get the kiss on those reds, but I think he got
19.
one in the right centre. Maybe slightly awkward bridging.
Made light of that difficulty.
20.
Beautiful shot.
25.
Crowd's really enjoying it. They feel the tension as well.
$26. $32.
Davis watching his 40-point lead disappear.
33.
Didn't get the cannon quite right.
40.
Renewed hope in the heart of Davis. He knew that if O'Sullivan had caught that cannon slightly differently, it was a pound to a gooseberry that O'Sullivan was going to win the frame.
Yes, he clattered the butt of his cue on the floor. And I thought he was going to play safety, but he's taken this thin cut on. Has to be careful not to foul the cue ball. Oh. What a shot.
It's in his mind to go for
41.
just about anything that's potable. And he had to be quick to get the long cue and rest out of the way.
$44.
Careless.
45.
Just when it looked as if he'd done the hard part. just as well the brown was there.
$49.
An effortless deep screw for the yellow.
57.
Needs only green in addition.
59.
Davis led 40-0 in this frame. Unluckily went in off.
62.
O'Sullivan won the last frame with a break of 118.
66.
His recovery is gathering momentum.
71. $77 on the frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
And with that cavalier 77, Ronnie O'Sullivan reduces the gap to a single frame. Davis now leads only by 8 frames to 7.
Cavalier, a very good word from Clive Everton. Belligerent, another one that he's used. We'll come to that in just a moment. After this miss from Steve Davis, is this the miss that might cost him the Welsh Open title, Dominic?
Well, he's just unlucky. You can't know for certain where the cue ball's going here. He's potted the red, that was number
Steve
one.
Davis 40, Ronnie
Just unfortunate to
O'Sullivan
going off, you know, if it wobbles, he could have come out for the black. Just, you know, it just happens to you, that does it, when at the crucial times when you don't want it to.
They're not the sort of angles that you should be able to see then?
No, I'd have liked to see Steve just go into a few reds there and give himself more options. That wasn't an easy positional shot that he tried to play there.
To Ronnie O'Sullivan, belligerent. Initially conceding that frame when there wasn't really any need to, went out of the arena, came back, knocked in 118 break in 5.5 minutes, and then seized this opportunity to draw back to within a frame.
That last break was an incredible break.
And this thin cut as well, Dominic?
Yeah, another great shot. He's just concentrating on potting the red here. He knows he can expect to be on a colour. But he's just got so much courage, this guy.
He's almost playing better for the slap in the face, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line here. That when he came out after he'd gone behind and conceded that frame, he's playing with anger and venom.
Exactly. It's the courage he's got. There's no inhibition, there's no hesitancy, and he's just going for it. And that's
Steve
so
Davis
hard
to
to do when he's in the position he is. And if that doesn't shake Steve up, I don't know what will, because it would certainly shake most players at what he's doing to them at the moment.
Not very often I ask the same question twice. But what's going to happen next?
Don't know, but this is just great. One of the superstars of the 21st century up against it, against the king of the 80s. And O'Sullivan missing the kind of red that he so often pots. That would have enabled him to maintain the momentum that he's built up by capturing the last 2 frames with breaks of 118 and 77. Screwed back for safety in case he missed it. I think O'Sullivan's enjoying it, Terry.
Yes, well, Dominic mentioned his courage. It's a bit of that, and a lot of not wanting to lose. I mean, all the great players find something when they need it most, and there's no way back for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Steve Davis only needs 1 frame, So he needs something special, and he normally brings it out.
A tight finish in a major final. That's when a snooker player feels it is most alive. There's nothing quite like it.
I think Ronnie O'Sullivan has been under pressure all day. He's expected to win, and probably feels you got everything to lose and nothing to gain, and it's the first time that he's faced defeat really at 8-5, and since then he's been a different player. Pressure's off him a bit.
Didn't hit that any too well. Took the cue ball too near the corner pocket. It jawed and didn't get back anywhere near the baulk cushion. He left Davis within potting range without having to cannon another ball. One of those half chances, of which in a long match you've got to take a significant proportion.
Well, Ronnie O'Sullivan's looking to pot that red, surely not. Very risky. It's the one just across from the pink spot there, and he's looking there if the cue ball's got a gap through two reds above the black, but he's a long way away from it. He's looking now to go off the edge of it, which again he doesn't like, but I think that's the right shot. So you've got to be careful he doesn't flick the red over to the left corner pocket. Well, he almost flicked it in. Not another red, but he'd be happy to there. The position he found himself in.
Davis calculated the percentages there. It's only going to cost him 1 point though.
One.
O'Sullivan's cannon has left him out of position.
Bramble. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
Davis's safety, catching the blue. Leaves this red at a range from which O'Sullivan's very unlikely to miss it.
One. 8. Nine.
So that's moved the red off the black spot. Black back on its own spot after O'Sullivan has taken it this time.
Well, he got a quick bounce off that cushion. He may be okay. He can just slip past there, the pink and the reds, and he's on it.
17.
Into the bunch to create
25.
a potential frame winning opportunity, despite the line of 4 reds on the left hand side cushion. Oh, but then
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 25.
he misses a routine black from its spot just when he was flying.
I thought he'd left himself a fair way from the black then with the cue ball, but he's flying and he's just expecting to pot everything. The only thing that could save him yet, he's only left one of the reds on for Steve Davis into the left centre. Not a certainty, this red.
Six. Seven.
O'Sullivan could have won the frame without the aid of the reds lined up along the left hand side cushion, but Davis can't. He came to the table 26 points behind.
Well, that black is deceptive. It's a little bit of a thinner cut than it looks, so he may not be able to just hold for the reds. Well, played a kiss and got a good one. An excellent one, as a matter of fact. Going back to those 4 reds there, Clive, as everybody's looking on up in the players' room. At least with 4 of them like that, if he gets a chance to go into them, they 50. Will probably split out well for him, but still a bit to do before he comes there.
Two. 23.
He's just looking on that black off the spot gone by. A little